Hello friends, in this series I'm back with the topic of operating system, as many of you requested for the basics of operating systems videos. So I'm back with this. I'm going to discuss first of all the basics of operating system, and then I'm going to move to some of the important topics and various numericals related to them. So let's start with it. So in this particular video, we're going to talk about the basic notion of an operating system. So an operating system, what is an operating system? An operating system acts as an intermediary between the users of a computer and the computer hardware. So it is basically the intermediate between a user and a hardware. Now, how is it an intermediate between them? So an OS, operating system, is the software that takes the raw capabilities of the hardware and builds a more practical platform for the execution of the programs. Now let's take an example and let's see how this happens. Now imagine I want to store some data. Fine, imagine I want to store some data, and what is that data? Let's say I need to store this line which says that we are learning the basics of operating system. So where will I store it? First question that comes into my mind is that where do I want to store it? So I'll be storing it definitely in some of the storage device of my computer, which can be a hard disk, right? So now this is a component of your hardware, right? Now next question that will arise in my mind is, in which form, in what format will I be storing my data, right? So I cannot just directly dump this line into my hard disk. I need to first convert it into some representable format or understandable format by my hardware. So how would I do it? I would first of all form it in the form of some file, or I can store the data as a database in case it is a huge data. Now since the data that I have taken as an example is just a single line, I can just form it in the form of a file. Now a file could be a Word file, right? A Word file which can be formed by using an application software which is termed as Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, you can say, right? So that means, how do I create such a form that is file or database? I have to use an application software for it, right? So I have to use an application software for it, and example is Microsoft Office or Microsoft Word to create a Word file. So that means, what is the role of operating system then? So this is the entire procedure, right? But what is the role of an operating system? So an operating system basically provides an environment in which these application softwares can be installed, right? You cannot install that Microsoft Word into your computer. First of all, you need to install some operating system, whether you are installing whether you are installing some Windows operating system, or you are installing some Linux, Ubuntu, or anything. But first of all, you install an operating system, and then you install various application softwares which you use later on, right? So an operating system provides an environment in which these application softwares can be installed. So an operating system like Windows, Ubuntu, etc. provides an environment in which a user can perform a task, example, formulate the information in a suitable format, that is, say a Word file using an application software like Microsoft Word, and save it onto my hardware, which is a hard disk in this case, in a convenient and efficient manner, right? In a convenient and efficient manner. So if I broadly look upon what I have is, the scenario is that I have my hardware over here. Then I install my operating system on the top of it, and then on the top of it I install various application programs with which I interact, right? So my operating system basically acts as an intermediate between this hardware and me, wherein I am using these application programs. Right. So this was the basic notion or the basic concept of an operating system. Now since we are very short of time from the GATE exam, I'll be straight away moving to some of the scheduling algorithms in my next videos. So stay tuned, and please like the video if you like it, and please look up and keep yourself tuned for more good work coming up. Thank you.